Hey everyone! Version 6.2 details have been released, which means we've got official info on how DURIN'S kit works, and there's a lot to cover here. Gameplay videos of him are already circulating, so if you want to check out his animations, just search here on YouTube and you'll find plenty of videos. But in today's video, we're going through everything about DURIN. Full kit, Constellations, signature weapon, the whole thing. If you're thinking about pulling for DURIN in 6.2, this is the video you need. Since you're already here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Let's get into it. Save up to 25% on Genesis crystals at lootbar.gg. To celebrate Genshin's anniversary, you can grab the all-in-one pack and the 6,480 Genesis crystals pack, normally $100 in-game, for just $72 on Lootbar. That's 81 pulls, almost guaranteeing you a 5-star for your account while saving you $28. The process is super simple. Just enter your UID, select your server, and receive your crystals in under a minute. No password needed. Lootbar uses official recharge channels, has hundreds of 5-star reviews, and partnerships with several big content creators that you probably know, so everything is completely safe. Lootbar supports PlayStation 5 and Xbox top-ups. Also, don't forget that the double bonus for your first purchase on each pack has been reset. Click the link in the description to claim your extra discount. New users get an extra 10% discount, while returning users get 5%. Let's start with the basics. DURIN'S coming in the first half of version 6.2. He's a pyro character and sword user, focused on being a sub-DPS or support, depending on how you use his skills. Alongside DURIN, we'll have a new 4-star character who you already know if you did the Nod Cry Archon quest, Jehoda. We don't have confirmed info on the 6.2 reruns yet. We'll probably get that in the next few days. But the rumor is it'll be Neuvillette, Escoffier, and Venti. Now back to DURIN. He's basically two characters in one. He has two very different forms that completely change how he plays. His elemental skill lets him choose between two forms that activate different effects. When you use his elemental skill, he goes into an animation where you pick the path. If you press E again, it activates Affirmation of Whitening, which is the form more focused on AoE damage. He deals pyro damage around him and stays in this state for 30 seconds. If you use a normal attack during the animation, it activates Negation of Darkness, which is 3 consecutive strikes, and puts him in this state for 30 seconds too. The ultimate is where it gets really cool. Depending on which form you chose, it works completely differently. In Whitening form, you summon a flame dragon that follows your active character and keeps attacking nearby enemies with area of effect damage. In Darkness form, the dragon targets just one enemy, but the damage is much higher, and both stay on field for 20 seconds, so that's a good amount of damage time. Basically, you're choosing between pyro application in AoE or single target damage. This makes DURIN useful in different situations, both against waves of enemies and bosses. Now, the passives are where DURIN really shows he was designed with support in mind. In DURIN'S first passive, when the Whitening form is active and your allies trigger pyro reactions like burning, overload, swirl, or crystallize, he reduces pyro resistance and the reacting element's resistance by 20%. In Darkness form, he increases his own vaporize and melt damage by 40%. So one form is more about helping the whole team as support, and the other is more focused on him dealing damage himself. What's interesting here is the reaction split. Apparently, DURIN won't be that great of an option for DPS characters focused on vaporize and melt reactions. Is Hoyo scared of giving Neuvillette another support? Either way, let's talk about DURIN'S signature weapon now, which looks pretty strong. It has 608 base attack and 33.1% crit rate. The base effect increases ultimate damage by 16%, but there's a mechanic called Blade of Daylight that buffs his attack and other team members too, by 16% and 12%, respectively. And there's an important detail here. When you play with Hexenzirkel characters, like Venti or Mona, these buffs become 75% stronger. So he was really designed to fit specific teams. About the Constellations, they make a huge difference. C1 already increases ultimate damage by 25% and adds a stack system that buffs the whole team's damage based on his attack. C2 is pretty strong too. Gives 50% more pyro damage and 50% of the reacting element whenever someone triggers an elemental reaction, which means at C2 he gains a lot more value as support. C3 and C5 just increase skill levels, nothing special. C4 gives a 55% chance to not consume C1 stacks, which is pretty useful. And C6 is insane. Makes him ignore 30% of enemies' defense on ultimate damage and depending on the form, he either reduces enemies' defense by another 30% or ignores an additional 40% of defense on ultimate damage. Look, Durin seems to be exactly what the pyro element needed right now. He's not that character who's gonna carry everything solo as main DPS, but as an off-field support, he has everything to be very relevant in the meta. The thing is, he works better with certain characters, so it'll depend on who you've already built. If you're looking for something versatile that adapts to different situations, Durin seems like a good choice. Just don't expect him to be as simple to use as some other 5 stars, because he has his own mechanics that you'll need to understand well and know which team to fit him in. It's also important to note that the beta hasn't started yet at the time this video is coming out. This is official info, extracted through data mining the beta files, but it can be changed in the coming days. However, these would be minor changes like multiplier adjustments. So, what do you guys think? Are you gonna try pulling or skip? Let me know in the comments which form seems more interesting to you. And if you're already thinking about building teams for him. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.